Hello students, how are you all today? This is Ashar Khan, your geography teacher from Shiv Jyoti Educational Group Kota, and today we are going to learn a new chapter. So students, the chapter that we are going to learn today is chapter number 16 of your geography book. So please open your book on page number 131. Okay, we are going to start with chapter 16, that is biodiversity and conservation. Let us start reading. Keep your pencils ready as well. Now you have already learnt about the geomorphic processes, particularly weathering and depth of weathering mantle in different climatic zones. We have already learnt about geomorphic process as well as the process of weathering. Alright, in chapter 6. You can go there to recapitulate. You should know that this weathering mantle is the basis for the diversity of vegetation and hence the biodiversity. Now in this particular chapter, students, we are going to learn about diversity, and in particular we are going to learn about biodiversity. Now biodiversity means variety in life. The basic cause for such weathering variation and resultant biodiversity is the input of solar energy and water. Now it depends on how much solar energy you are getting as much as how much water you have in your surrounding. No wonder that the areas that are rich of these inputs are the areas of wide spectrum of biodiversity. Now the areas which are rich in water as well as the sunlight will have richer biodiversity, means it will have different variety of both plant life and animal life. Biodiversity is a constant system of evolution. Alright, before the advent of humans, our earth supported more biodiversity than in any other period. Before human came, we had much more biodiversity. Now since the emergence of humans, however, biodiversity has begun a rapid decline, with one species after another bearing the brunt of extinction due to overuse. Usually what happens is, when a new species arrives or develops, the previous species gets extinct, which happens to our species. For example, humans are Homo sapiens. Alright, the previous types of human, the previous genus of humans which used to live were the Homo neanderthals. So when Homo sapiens came into existence, Homo neanderthal went extinct because they were not able to survive in the changing climate. But we did. Now, the number of species globally vary from 2 million to 100 million, with 10 million being the best estimate. New species are regularly discovered, most of which are yet to be classified. An estimate states that about 40% of freshwater fishes from South America are not classified yet. Tropical forests are very rich in biodiversity. You can underline this, that the tropical forests in particular, are very rich in biodiversity. Alright, now let us begin. So as I've already told you, biodiversity is a system of constant evolution from a viewpoint of species as well as from viewpoint of an individual organism. The average half-life of species is estimated at between 1 and 4 million years, and 99% of the species that have ever lived on the earth are today extinct. So that means most of the species which were there earlier on the earth are now extinct. Biodiversity is not found evenly on the earth. Now biodiversity does not mean that everywhere on earth you will have variety of plants and animals in the same manner. There will be some places where there will be a large amount of biodiversity, means lot of plants and animals are found, and at some places lesser amounts of plants and animals will be found, because it depends on the climate. Alright, it is constantly richer in the tropics, and as one approaches the polar region, one finds larger and larger population of fewer and fewer species. Okay, so in the tropical region, that means the equatorial region, you will find lots and lots of species. Alright, variety of species. But as you move towards the polar region, you will find less species. Now biodiversity itself is a combination of two words. Underline this, that biodiversity is made up of two words, that is bio means life and diversity means variety. Alright, in simple terms, biodiversity is the number and variety of organisms found within a specified geographic region. Please underline the entire 5 lines. That biodiversity is the number of variety of organisms. What is biodiversity? The number and variety of organisms which are found within a specified geographic region. Now, it refers to the variety of plants, animals and microorganisms, the genes they contain and the ecosystems they form. It relates to the variability among living organisms on the earth, including the variability within the species, and that within and between the ecosystems. Biodiversity is our living wealth. It is a result of hundreds of millions of years of evolutionary history. Now, biodiversity can be discussed at 3 levels. So there are 3 levels in which we divide biodiversity, that is genetic diversity, species diversity and ecosystem diversity. Let us read that. Alright, so biodiversity can be divided into 3 types, that is on the basis of genetic, species and ecosystem. Let us first read the genetic biodiversity, which means variety in genes. Okay, Genes are the basic building blocks of various life forms. For example, even we humans have different genes in our body. Genetic biodiversity refers to the variation of genes within species. Now, in one particular species, there will be variation of genes, as you can see in the picture here. Different types of pictures are given of humans. All right. Now, you can see there are variations here in hair color, skin color, eye color. Okay, in the particular size of eyes. All right. Groups of individual organisms having certain similarities in their physical characteristics are called species. Underline this. This is the definition of species here. That individual organisms which have certain similarities in their physical characteristics. As I've just told you, different types of skin color, different types of hair color, different types of eye color. All right. People have different types of finger movements as well. All right. They have different types of movements. Now, human beings genetically belong to the Homo sapiens group and also differ in their characteristics such as height, color and physical appearance. Now, some humans are taller, some are shorter, some have fairer skin, some have dark skin, alright. Some have curly hair, some have straight hair. So, it all depends on the genes which you have received from your parents or ancestors. Now, why does this happen? This is due to genetic diversity. This genetic diversity is essential for a healthy breeding of population of species. Now, let us move on to species diversity. Species diversity refers to the variety of species. Now, in one type of family, you will have variety of species that we are going to see here. It relates to the number of species in a defined area. The diversity of species can be measured through its richness, abundance, and types. Some areas are more rich in species than others. Areas rich in species diversity are called hotspots of diversity. As you can see in the image behind me, there is a tiger and a lion. Both belong to the feline cat family. But you can see there are difference in their physical attributes here. Okay, because even though they belong to the same genus, they are of different species. Okay, same goes with flowering plants as well. For example, rose. Rose has different colors which are found here. It's the same genus but with the different species. Now, ecosystem diversity, we have already learned about ecosystem in the earlier chapter. The broad differences between ecosystem types and the diversity of habitats and ecological process occurring within each ecosystem type constitute the ecosystem diversity. Now, it depends on what kind of animals and plants will be found in that one particular area or ecosystem, which will tell us about the ecosystem diversity of that particular area. Alright, thus the demarcation of economic boundaries is difficult and complex. So it is hard for us to determine the ecosystem diversity for us, because in one particular area a large variety of both plants, animals, okay, land animals, water animals, it can be easily found. Now, let us move to our next topic, that is importance of biodiversity. Why is biodiversity so important to us? Why are we learning about so much about biodiversity? Alright, this is our next topic, importance of biodiversity. Now, biodiversity has contributed in many ways to the development of human culture, and in turn human communities have played a major role in shaping the diversity of nature at the genetic, species and ecological level. Biodiversity plays the following roles. We have ecological, economic and scientific role. Now, there are three types of role which biodiversity plays and hence is important to us. That is the ecological role, which is interdependency of animals upon each other. Economical role, we get more resources out of those species and plants, and scientific role, which leads to research. Let us learn about these in detail. First, we are going to learn about ecological role. Species of many kinds perform some function or the other in an ecosystem. For example, if we are talking about any particular species, that means it is doing some work or other. Nothing in an ecosystem evolves and sustains without any reason. From a small ant to the largest mammal, they are all working for our ecosystem and our nature. That means every organism, underline this, every organism beside extracting its needs also contributes something of useful to other organisms. Take the example of a butterfly. Okay, butterfly goes from flower to suck the nectar, correct? But upon doing so, it is extracting its own needs. Okay, that particular insect is fulfilling its own needs, but also it is transporting the pollen grains from one flower to another, which results in the spread of flower species. So you see, every species which you can think of on this planet is contributing to our ecosystem. Can you think of the way we humans contribute to the sustenance of ecosystems? Species capture and store energy, produce and decompose organic materials, help to cycle water and nutrients throughout the ecosystem. Underline this. All right, we fix the atmospheric gases and help regulate the climate. So these are some of the work which is done by us. We convert energy, we take up nutrients, we decompose them on our death. All right, these functions are important for ecosystem function and human survival. We have to do them for our needs as well as for the ecosystem. The more diverse an ecosystem, better are the chances for the species to survive through adversities and attacks, and consequently is more productive. So the more diverse an ecosystem it will be more easier for them to survive any attack on their species. Hence, the loss of species would decrease the ability of the system to maintain itself. Just like a species with a high genetic diversity, an ecosystem with high biodiversity may have a greater chance of adapting to environmental change. In other words, the more the variety of species in an ecosystem, the more stable the ecosystem is likely to be. So the more variety there will be in ecosystem, it is henceforth proof that the more stable that particular ecosystem is. Alright, I hope you understood the ecological role, which means you just have to understand that each organism contributes something useful to the other organisms. Alright, we are all existing for one purpose or other. Alright, for example, producers, we have already learned this in our previous chapters. Okay, nutrients are made and then cycled through animals who feast upon the other animal. This is called food web. Alright, and the cycle, the energy cycle takes place. Alright, now the next one is economic role of biodiversity. For all humans, biodiversity is an important resource in their day-to-day life. One important part of biodiversity is crop diversity, which is also called agrodiversity. Underline this. Can you imagine, students, if we had only one kind of crop growing in our fields? Supposedly only rice grew on our earth. Will it be healthy for us, as well as wouldn't it become bland to eat a same meal every day? That is why we have biodiversity, and that is why it is important to us, because we have so many types of plants, so many types of animals, all right, which we can use. Biodiversity is seen as a reservoir of resources to be drawn upon for the manufacture of food. So different types of biodiversity in plants and animals gives us food, pharmaceutical, that means medicines, and cosmetic products. This concept of biological resource is responsible for the deterioration of biodiversity. Because we require more resources, we are continually cutting down trees and hunting animals. So this is why the biodiversity is deteriorating, it is decreasing. Now at the same time, it is also the origin of new conflicts dealing with rules of division and appropriation of natural resources. Some of the important economic commodities that biodiversity supplies to humankind. Now, what particular things that we get from biodiversity and what we make of them? Underline this. We take food, crops, livestock. Livestock is the animals we keep, all right, for meat and other products. Then we have forests, fish, and medicinal resources. These are all important for our own economy, because we have different varieties of plants and animals. We can use them for our food purpose, for our medicinal purpose, and cosmetic purposes. Correct? Now, the next one is scientific role of biodiversity. Biodiversity is important because each species can give us some clue as to how life evolved and will continue to evolve. Biodiversity also helps in understanding how life functions and the role of each species in sustaining ecosystems, of which we are also a species. Scientific role means because the different kinds of animals are found. So basically, because of scientific biodiversity, what is the scientific role in biodiversity? The different types of animals and plants we will have, the more understanding we will have by studying them, that how life functions, what are the work that this particular plant or animal does in our ecosystem. Okay, the fact that we must be drawn upon, every one of us, so that we live and let other species also live their lives. It is our ethical responsibility as well. Now, what is ethical? That means our moral responsibility to consider that each and every species along with us have an intrinsic right to exist. We have to understand that all of this planet Earth is not for one single species. All the species of plants, animals, birds, mammals, we are sharing this planet. Okay? Hence, it is morally wrong to voluntarily cause the extinction of any species. It is very wrong that we will cause the extinction of any species, however small it may be. The level of biodiversity is a good indicator in the state of our relationship with other living species. In fact, the concept of biodiversity is an integral part of many human cultures. Okay, so it is very important for us that we let live the other plants and animals as well. To not hunt them carelessly would be a very good thing. Now, next topic that we have is loss of biodiversity. Since the last few decades, growth in human population has increased the rate of consumption of natural resources. Now, because of overpopulation, because of the continuously increasing population on our planet, that means we require more resources. Okay, it has accelerated the loss of species and habitation in different parts of the world. Now, because of the fact that we require more and more resources, that means the loss of species has also begun. Tropical regions, which occupy only about 1/4 of the total area of the world, contain about 3/4 of the world human population. Overexploitation of resources and deforestation have become rampant to fulfill the needs of large population. Underline this, that we have started overexploiting, overusing our resources such as forest, grasslands, fishing waters, all right, so that we can fulfill the needs of large population. As these tropical rainforests contain 50% of the species on the earth, destruction of natural habitats have proved disastrous for the entire biosphere. Natural calamities has also begun because of our change in our ecosystem. See, natural calamities such as earthquakes, floods, volcanic eruptions, forest fire, droughts, they cause damage to the flora and fauna of the earth, bringing change in biodiversity of respective affected region. Pesticides and other pollutants such as hydrocarbons and toxic heavy metals destroy the weak and sensitive species. Now we use so many pesticides and insecticides in our crops that because of its overuse, the earth loses its fertility, the land loses its fertility, as well as the organisms which are living in that part of the land also gets affected. Underline this, species which are not the natural inhabitants of the local habitat but are introduced into the system are called exotic species. There are many examples when a natural biotic community of the biosystem suffered extensive damage because of the introduction of exotic species. During the last few decades, some animals like tigers, elephants, rhinoceros, crocodiles, minks and birds were hunted mercilessly by poachers for their horn, tusks, hides and etc. It has resulted in the rendering of a certain type of organisms as endangered category. So we have hunted some particular species of animals so much that they have become endangered. What is the meaning of endangered? We are going to learn in our next topic. Let us read first. The International Union of Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, that is IUCN, has classified the threatened species of plants and animals into 3 categories for the purpose of their conservation. So here are some endangered species. Now endangered species includes those species which are in danger of extinction. Now these are the particular types of animals and plants which are not extinct yet but are in danger, that if we don't protect them, they will go extinct. The IUCN publishes information about endangered species worldwide as the red list of threatened species. Alright, so the IUCN, that is the International Union of Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, it publishes a book called the Red List, which gives us the entire details about the threatened and endangered species of a world. Currently, we have 5,611 species of plants found in world which are listed as endangered, and 1,228 species of birds and 1,556 species of animals which are listed in the Red Book. Okay, these are some of the plants and flowers which are endangered, that is Rafflesia, orchid and hibiscus. Endangered animals such as otter, Indian rhino and the Royal Bengal tiger are also there. Now let us have a look at vulnerable species. These vulnerable species, this includes the species which are likely to be in danger of extinction in near future if the factors threatening to their extinctions continue. Now these are the species which are not yet endangered, but they will fall into the endangered category if we don't protect them. Several of these species is not assured as their population has reduced gently. These species survival is not assured because they have reduced in number. Alright, they have become endangered because of habitat loss or destruction. Example being Labrador duck and Atlantic puffin. Alright, now comes the rare species. Population of these species is very small in the world as they are confined to limited areas or thinly scattered over a wide area. Now these are the species which are found only in one particular place of the earth. For example, there is the whistling spider, Mexican walking fish and the quaking frog. These are some of the examples of rare species which you can write beneath this paragraph. Our next topic, that is conservation of biodiversity. Why is it important for us to conserve all the biodiversities? Students, we have already discussed all the roles, okay, economical, ecological and scientific role. These are enough reasons for us to protect our biodiversity. Still, let us look at some of the more topics which are given here. See now, biodiversity is important for human existence. All forms of life are slow closely interlinked that disturbance in one give rise to imbalance in the other. Underline these 3 lines, that the forms of life are so internally connected, they are so linked that one loss will result in the imbalance of the other. If species of plants and animals become endangered, they cause degradation in the environment which may threaten human beings' own existence. Okay, for example, if a particular food crop goes into existence, that will be very harmful for our economy as well as our health. There is an urgent need to educate people to adopt environment-friendly practices and reorient their activities in such a way that our development is harmonious with other life forms and is sustainable. A word is given here, sustainable. It means that we will develop, that human beings will focus on developing, but will also keep in mind about the survival of plants and animals. That is what development, sustainable development means. There is an increasing consciousness of the fact that such conservation with sustainable use is possible only with the involvement and cooperation of local communities and individuals. As we all know, it is only possible if all the local communities and the individuals, everyone cooperate to protect the life of animals and plants. For this, the development of institutional structures at local levels is necessary. The critical problem is not merely the conservation of species nor the habitat, but the continuation of process of conservation. It is not about conserving them, it is about continuing to conserve them. That we have to do this every day, every year, to protect the different plants and animals of our planet. Now, our government has passed some of new laws, some of reforms have been passed. They have taken certain special measures to protect the biodiversity of India. Let us have a look at them. See now. The government of India along with 155 other nations have signed the Convention of the Biodiversity at the Earth Summit held at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in June 1992. So in June 1992, a convention was met with 155 other countries, where at Rio de Janeiro, which is a city in Brazil, the World Conservation has suggested the following steps for biodiversity conservation. Number 1, efforts should be made to preserve the species that are endangered. That efforts should be made to protect an endangered species. Prevention of extinction requires proper planning and management. Varieties of food crop, that is forage plants, timber trees, livestock, animals and their wild relatives should be preserved. Each country should identify habitats of wild relatives and ensure their protection. Habitats where species feed, breed, rest and nurse their young ones should be safeguarded and protected. International trade in wild plants and animals be regulated. Okay, so these are some of the important factors which were given in the summit. And mark all the 6 points. All right. Now, what has India done in its own country? To protect, preserve and propagate the variety of species within natural boundaries, the Government of India passed the Wildlife Protection Act in 1972. So our country, India, has passed a law which is called the Government of India Wildlife Protection Act. Alright, 1972 it was passed, under which national parks and sanctuaries were established and biosphere reserves were declared. Alright, there is a map given on page number 135 which tells us all about the ecological hotspots in the world. There are some countries which are situated in the tropical region. They possess a large number of the world's species diversity, which are called the mega diversity center. Now we have already learned in the beginning of the chapter that surrounding the tropical areas, that is around the equator, you will find most of the variation in diversity, in biodiversity. So these particular areas are called mega diversity center, and there are 12 countries which fall in this region. There are 12 such countries, underline them, namely Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Brazil, Democratic Republic of Congo, Madagascar, China, India, Malaysia, Indonesia and Australia, in which these centers are located. So these are the places where you will find a very large amount of biodiversity, both in plants, animals and birds. Now, the IUCN, the International Union for the Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, has identified certain areas as biodiversity hotspots. The hotspots are given on the page on 135. You can see that all of them, majority of them are falling in the tropical region, which is around the equator. Because this tells us that most of the biodiversity amongst plants and animals are focused on the equatorial region. Because as I told you in the beginning of the chapter, it depends on the amount of solar radiation we are getting as much as the amount of water which is found in these areas. Alright? Plants are important because they determine plants are important because these determine the primary productivity of an ecosystem. Most, but not all, of the ecosystems rely on species-rich ecosystems for food, firewood, cropland, and income from timber. In Madagascar, for example, about 85% of the plants and animals are found nowhere else in the world. So they are such locally exotic to that Madagascar island. So you see, about 85% of the plants and animals are found nowhere else in the world. They are found only in Madagascar. Other hotspots in wealthy countries are facing different types of pressure now. All the other countries are facing the same pressure as India is facing, which is the extinction or the threatening of the biodiversity of their plants and animals. All of the countries are also taking special measures to protect them by setting up national parks, biosphere reserves, and so on. The islands of Hawaii have many unique plants and animals that are threatened by introduced species and land development. For example, there is an island of Hawaii near Japan which is threatened by extinction of species of both plants and animals. So they have to take certain measures. So students, this is why biodiversity is important to us, and we have to take certain measures to conserve them, because survival of human race as well as all the other animals depend. As I've told you, it is interlinked with everyone. If one species goes extinct, the effect of it will be felt by all the other species as well. So student, this marks the end of our chapter, that is chapter number 16, biodiversity and conservation. I hope you watched this video carefully. Thank you so much.